Hello everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you all of the books that I've hauled since October, because that was when my last haul was, which is wild. And I also haven't made a lot of videos since then. I've done like a few here and there, but I haven't done like a sit down haul video or anything like that in a really long time. So I thought, why not? I've got a bunch of books here, I think almost 30. So honestly, like it could be worse, which is kind of sad to say. But I also decided to buy a few books from Book Depository because, as I'm sure you saw, Book Depository closed down, which I think is really sad. I really loved to use Book Depository for like international editions, like hardcovers, just like cheaper books in general that you couldn't get here in Australia, because in Australia you only really get a lot of paperbacks and sometimes you want the hardback or like a different edition. And Book Depository was like, I think one of the first online bookstores to really offer that with free shipping, and so I'm really sad about it. But I decided to get a few books before they closed down and they've all arrived now. I tried to order things that were cheaper on Book Depository and that I couldn't really find anywhere else. So without further ado, let's get into the unboxing first and I'll show you what I've got, and then I'll get into the rest of the book haul after. Okay, so this one is sort of one of the thinner ones. Let's see. Oh my god, yeah, the bookmarks! These are gonna be the last bookmarks that we get. So the first book I have is Transcendent Kingdom by Yagyasi, and I am in love with this cover. First of all, like, I think it is so beautiful and I really wanted this edition specifically. It's about a immigrant family, I believe, yeah, from Ghana to Alabama, and there's romance and there's a brother dealing with addiction, and it's just meant to be a really like beautiful story. And I didn't realize how short it was, so I'm not gonna lie. Like, okay, so it's like just over 200 pages, which isn't too bad, honestly. That is shorter than I expected, but I'm so happy to finally have this on my shelf. All right, so the next book, oh, this one is a little bit open. Luckily it didn't get water damaged as far as I could see. Oh, this is a little bit damaged, but that's fine. Yay! Okay, I got Mame by Jessica George. This is a fairly new release, I believe. Like, I think this one only came out at the beginning of 2023. I've just heard really incredible things about this one, and this one is a literary fiction, and it says, meet Maddie Wright. All her life she's been told who she is to her. Oh! The main character in this is from Ghana as well. That's like two books. I didn't realize that two of the books I ordered had characters from the same country. Oh my god. Had no idea. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is a coming of age sort of novel, and it follows Maddie, and then a tragedy strikes and Maddie is forced to face the risks and the rewards of putting her heart on the line. So I've heard like really good things about this. Next up, yay, I've wanted to own this, like the hardcover of this, literally since 2017. And so I decided to finally order it. It's just The Hate You Give. I've read and loved this for, I've loved this for so many years now. The stickers, not a fan of the stickers, but that's fine. I read this in 2017 and I was so excited for this, and I devoured this book, and I just thought it was absolutely incredible, and I've just wanted it in hardcover for the longest time, and I've just never ordered it because I'm like, oh, you know, it's like an older backlog novel. I technically own the Australian paperback, although it's really ugly, and I don't really need it. Like, I don't need to prioritize it over other books that I haven't yet read, you know. But then Book Depository was closing down, and this book was cheaper on Book Depository than any other website that I could find online, and they still had the stock available as well. So I decided, why not? I'll get the hardcover, and now I finally have the hardcover. Yay! I'm actually so stoked about that. Final book. Can I remember what this one is? Oh, yes, this is another one I've wanted for ages. I got Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This one is supposed to be a gothic fantasy. I've heard a lot of people don't like this, but the people who love it really fucking love it. And so I'm hoping I'm in the I love it camp. I really hope I love this. I think I'm going to, despite the mixed reviews, because it just sounds like something up my alley and something I'd really enjoy, and from the style that I've heard as well. But oh my god, I'm so excited to finally have this. So they are the books that I got from Book Depository for the very last time. I am very sad about it, but like, look how beautiful they are together. I am so happy with all of those. Okay, let's hop into the books that I got secondhand. One of these I found from a charity shop, and the others, I mean, this first one I technically brought myself, and then the person I gifted it to was like, I haven't been able to read anything for a while, so if you want to read it, you have it back. So I've got it back now, so I guess I technically bought this, but it was like years ago. And that is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This one has like black edges as well, which I didn't realize. This one is meant to be one of the better dark academia novels. I've heard so many good things about this one. I am still really looking forward to this one though, and I'm glad that I have it now and that I can read it. Next up, I have this copy. I think I got this for like $2 from an op shop, and that is Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng. This one is in like really good condition, and I can't believe that I managed to find it like secondhand. It is what? Oh my god. Oh my god, this is signed. I mean, it's like a printed signature, but look, it's signed. So this one is set in a alternate future. I believe it kind of rings dystopian to me. It says, for a decade, their lives have been governed by laws written to preserve American culture in the wake of years of economic instability and violence. To keep the peace and restore prosperity, the authorities are now allowed to relocate children of dissidents, especially those of Asian origin, and libraries have been forced to remove books seen as unpatriotic, including the work of Bird's mother, who's the main character, Margaret, a Chinese-American poet who left the family when he was 9 years old. So I've heard really good things about this. I'm I'm excited to get to all of these. I'm sorry if I keep saying that. Next, I have a big pile. Well, not a big pile. I've got a whole trilogy, but I am currently filming a reading vlog for all of these, and I'm really excited about it because anyone who's been watching me for a while knows that I don't really vibe with the Mortal Instruments series. I've DNF'd the first book like 5 times, and I've tried so many times and I just can't. But I got the entire trilogy of the Infernal Devices, but I really want to read the Last Hours trilogy, which is her newest one. So I'm going to be reading those, but I've been told that I should read these at least first. So I'm currently in the middle of these. I am enjoying it more than the Mortal Instruments so far. Next, I'm going to talk about all of the romance that I ended up buying, because I mean, there's not a lot here, but it's a decent amount. So the first book that I'm going to show you is By a Thread by Lucy Score. I decided to get the physical copy of this one because I read this on Kindle Unlimited. Again, when I was starting this one and I was in the mood for romance, I picked this one up instead because I was just in a really bad place mentally. But I decided to pick this one up and I devoured it. It is a Grumpy Sunshine workplace romance, and there's like a lot of questionable shit in here, but like I loved this so much. I loved the characters. It basically follows Ali, who is working multiple jobs at the time to try and make ends meet and to support her father as well, and she ends up getting fired from one of her newer jobs because of a man named Dominic, who is a really powerful man, and he just like took out his bad day on Ali, who's just trying to serve him pizza. And because Dominic was dining with his mother when he got Ali fired. She was so appalled by his behavior. His mother found her at the bus stop and offered her a full-time position at her company, which is, I think, the second biggest magazine in the world, apparently. It goes from there, and she can't get fired either because, like, his mum is technically the big boss, and she's like, well, you're not losing your job because my son's being a dickhead. So I loved it so much that I ended up buying it. I loved it. It was really slow burn as well. Then after that, I decided to pick up Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score as well. This is the same author. I haven't read this one yet, but I'm going to. Like, I'm really excited to pick this one up. I believe this one is also a slow burn. I don't really know what it's about, to be honest, but I loved Lucy Score's writing so much. It was so addictive in By a Thread that I had to pick this one up. I saw this one really hyped up last year, but I never ended up picking it up. But after reading By a Thread, I really want to go and just read all of Lucy Score's work. I loved it. Then I have Loath to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. This is a collection of 3 short stories. They are the STEM novellas, so similar vibes to her first 2 books, Love on the Brain and The Love Hypothesis, which, like, are a silly, goofy time, and I really enjoy them personally. I know some people hate them, but I love them. Then I have Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the 3rd and final book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. I loved this book so much. I think this one was my favorite. This one follows the youngest brother, Cal, and Alana, and Cal ends up having to move to his old hometown where everyone fucking hates him, and he's really struggling with addiction as well, which I was not expecting for this story. But I really, for the most part, I really enjoyed how it was portrayed and how it went, and I like that it wasn't just like an easy fix. Overall, I loved it. Like, it was so good, and I ate this up. It was so much fun. The next books I got, I have decided to give a shot. I haven't started them yet, but I'm thinking of maybe doing a video for the first 2 books, and that is Addicted to You and Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. These are the first 2 books in the Addicted series. I've heard nothing but absolutely glowing praise from so many corners of the bookish internet about this series, and I thought, why not? I'll give it a go. And I'll just get the first 2 books. I decided not to buy the entire series just in case I don't like it. But I bought the first 2 just to, you know, dip my toes in a little bit and see how I feel. Apparently it follows multiple sisters, multiple couples throughout the series, or the 2 series I should say, but I'm really excited about this. I'm really hoping I love them, and then I can have an entire series to binge. Then I have Happy Place by Emily Henry. I'm so excited to read this one. This is probably my newest pickup out of this entire haul, apart from what I just unboxed. And I don't even know what this is about. I just loved Book Lovers so much, and I devoured that, and so I have to read her newest novel and her newest romance. I'm so excited for this. The only thing is, I wish that this was a shorter paperback like the rest of her books are, because let me show you. So this is Book Lovers, which only came out last year, and for some reason this year they've like decided to release the paperback in a taller paperback format, and I don't understand why, and it really annoys me. But yeah, really excited about Happy Place. And the final romance that I have to show you is Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorne. This one I've heard is a really fun time as well. I think it's sort of like a historical fantasy-ish romance, and by fantasy I think it's more cozy than like a dark or action-packed fantasy romance. I remember seeing this one going around the internet a while ago, but I never ended up picking it up. But I found this one for like $4, so I was like, why not? I'll just get it, and if I love it, then bonus, and if I don't, then it's only $4, so it's not too bad. I've never read anything by Sally Thorne before, but I think she wrote The Hating Game, and I think people generally really liked that as well. So maybe if I like this, I'll pick up her other work. But I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be a fun time. Oh, I just realized I have another book that I got secondhand that I didn't show you. But I got this one for, I think, $3. This one is Wahala by Nikki May. I really wanted this one for a while. It sounds really, really good. I'm obsessed with the cover. I think it's so much fun. So this one at its core, I believe, is about friendship. It follows Ronke, Simi, and Boo, who are inseparable mixed race friends living in London. They have the gift of two cultures, Nigerian and English, though they don't all choose to see it that way. Everyday racism has never held them back, but now in their 30s, they question their future. Ronke wants a husband. He must be Nigerian. Boo enjoys stay-at-home motherhood, while Simi, full of fashion career dreams, roll her eyes as her boss refers to her urban vibe yet again. And then they end up coming into contact with Isabel, who is a friend from their past and who is determined to fix their futures. And yeah, it explores friendship. I think this is literary fiction, but it might have a little bit of a thriller vibe to it. I don't think it's a thriller, but it's got those sorts of vibes. And I'm just like, I'm so excited for it. I think it's gonna be really good. These next books are all books that I found at Kmart for an obscenely cheap price. Like, I was just browsing and I saw these and I'm like, I haven't really seen them in their catalogue. I wonder how much they are. I wonder if they're on clearance, and they were. And I'm so happy about it. So I picked up a few of those, honestly, recently. So I picked all of these up. So I got Loveless this winter and Nick and Charlie, all by Alice Oseman. I got all of these for like $2.40 or something. These were 70 cents each. I don't know if I can do maths. Loveless, it is about a asexual teenager, or a romantic, or both. I think both, but I've heard really great things about this one. And these two are both short stories following Nick and Charlie from Heartstopper, and I think their families a little bit as well. And it's just, I mean, I love Heartstopper, so I'm excited to have these alongside them as well. The next book I got was $1, and that is Where the Light Gets In by Zoe Coyle. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what this is about, apart from a woman named Delphi whose mother, I believe, gets cancer, and she ends up returning to her mother in Australia for the last time, and it's about family and family ties. And yeah, I haven't heard of this, but it sounded really intriguing, and I love the cover as well, and it was $1, so I picked it up. And then the final book that I got for really, really cheap was Dear Dolly by Dolly Alderton. This book is a collection of a bunch of column articles from Dolly Alderton, and I'm assuming it's all about love and friendship and everything that she normally writes about. I read Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, and it just changed my entire world. I loved that book so much, and I read it at the perfect time for me as well, and so I wanted to get this anyway. Next up, I have some manga to show you. I don't have a lot. I do really want to get some more that are on my to read list after I recently watched the anime over on my other channel. But the first one I'm going to show you is volume 3 of Blue Flag. I loved the first 2 volumes of this so much. It is a slice of life sort of romance, and it is so beautiful and so funny and so fun to read so far. So I got volume 3 because it was, I think, 20% off Manga. And then in the same sale, I decided to get The Liminal Zone by Junji Ito. Don't know what this is about, but it's Junji Ito, so I'm gonna read it anyway. And I love the cover. The cover is stunning. I'm excited to read this one. I'll probably read this one maybe closer to Halloween, like if I do any Halloween readathons, because it's quite short, so I think that'll be an easy read as well. But so I've got those two. Love them so much. So the rest of the books I have to show you are all a little bit random, so I'm just going to show you the books that I've read, and then I'll show you the rest in no particular order. So next up, I have another copy of my favorite book, Bunny by Mona Awad. I have the hardcover already, but I love this book so much, and this one is pink, and so I had to have it. And I've technically got the orange one as well, but I gave that one to my mum to read, so I don't have that one, but I have this pink one as well now. And I think I might try and get all of the different editions, to be honest, because I love this book so much. And it's so, I mean, you've probably heard about Bunny. I think it had like a resurgence in popularity last year, but I love this book so much, so I got it in the pink one. The next book I have to show you is probably one of my favorites of this year so far. I loved this book so much. That is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. First of all, can we just like appreciate the edition that I have? I devoured this. This is a historical fiction. I think this was marketed as a romance to a lot of people, but it's got a snippet of romance, but it's not a romance. But this is a historical fiction. It follows Elizabeth Zott, who is a chemist, and she ends up becoming a cooking show host on TV, and she's really successful. And it delves into how she got there in the first place, and her past and her history and her loves, and it's so good. It's so good. I did talk about this in a lot more detail in my reading vlog, which I'll leave up here if you want to check that one out. But the way that this one talked about sexism in the 1950s and 60s and how Elizabeth Zott dealt with a lot of that was just absolutely incredible. And at times this did feel a little bit unrealistic for the time period, but I don't care. Like, it was so well written and it was so good regardless that I didn't mind. This book is also a little bit silly goofy in some aspects as well. Like, no spoilers, but Elizabeth ends up teaching her dog to talk, and her dog ends up learning well over 500 words, which is just wild. Her daughter is like a super genius, and it's just, yeah, it's a little bit silly at times, but there's also so much of it rooted in realism and grounded in realism, and I loved it. Like, I loved every second. I thought it was so good, and it's one of my favorite novels of the year so far. Maybe my favorite novel of the year so far. Next up I have And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Fredrik Backman. This is the first thing I've ever read by Fredrik Backman, and I think it's one of his shorter ones as well. Like, this is literally 74 pages and they are tiny. This is so short, but it packs such a punch. It is essentially about a boy and his grandpa who has Alzheimer's and is losing his memory, and they tell stories to each other, and it's really beautiful. It's incredibly sad, but incredibly gorgeous at the same time, and I loved it. This is going to be a nice transition. I got this book at the same time that I got this book, which I have not read yet, but this one is called Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica, and this one is about cannibalism. I don't know much else apart from that. Apparently this is set in a world where for some reason humans can't eat meat, and so they have to resort to eating each other. I don't know why they don't just go vegan. I don't know if that's explained, but apparently it's very twisted. Very excited. I've heard good but twisted things about it. The next book I ended up getting, I got purely because I was influenced by Books and Lala, and that is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. This one is a speculative fiction, and it follows Dr. Cliff Miyashiro, who arrives in the Arctic Circle to continue his recently deceased daughter's research, and he ends up discovering a virus which ends up releasing a plague onto humanity. And then when this plague is affecting humanity for hundreds of years, it follows the stories of different people and different families who are affected by this in different ways, and it just sounds absolutely incredible. And then the final two books, I'm just picking these ones up randomly. I ended up getting Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. This one is a recent release as well. This one is about a young Cree woman named Mackenzie who wakes from a dream or nightmare state, and she finds a severed bird's head on her bed with her. She ends up traveling back to her hometown, I believe, as well, and it explores grief and family and it's also a little bit of horror as well, and it just sounds absolutely incredible. I've been looking forward to this since I first heard about it at I think the end of last year, so I'm really excited to get to this one soon. And then the final book that I have is a hefty boy, and that is A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree. Have I read Priory of the Orange Tree yet? No. Do I want to? Yes. Am I going to sometime soon? Hopefully. Anyway, I got this one because I needed the hardcover, and also it's signed by the author. It's really beautiful, and I wanted it to match my hardcover of Priory. So I have this one as well, but it's probably going to be a little while before I get to this one because I need to read Priory first. But they are all of the books that I have acquired over the past 6 months or so. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments what books you've gotten recently, or what you've read, or whether I should prioritize any of these that I haven't read yet. Please let me know. I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to have a chat down in the comment section below as well. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave all of my socials down in the description box below as well. I hope you have a fantastic day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.